Have you ever been told that it is a sin to kill a mockingbird? In a small, quiet town in the American South, a young girl named Scout is about to learn exactly what that means. She thinks her biggest problem is a ghost living down the street, but she soon discovers that the real monsters in her town are much closer than she ever imagined. This is a story about childhood, courage, and the difficult moment you realize the world isn't always fair. The author, Nell Harper Lee, was born in 1926 in Monroeville, Alabama. Much like the main character, Scout, Lee was a self-described tomboy who was often tougher than the boys her age. Her childhood friend was another famous writer, Truman Capote, who inspired the character of Dill in the book. Lee even traveled to Kansas with Capote to help him research his famous true crime book, In Cold Blood. Lee set her story in the 1930s during the Great Depression. This was a time of deep poverty and strict Jim Crow laws, which forced racial segregation and unfair treatment of Black Americans. The language of the book is unique because it is told through the eyes of 6-year-old Scout, but narrated by her older self looking back. It feels both innocent and wise. For example, she describes her home as, "Maycomb was an old town, but it was a tired old town when I first knew it. There was no hurry, for there was nowhere to go." This tired old town is Maycomb, Alabama. For Scout and her older brother Jem, life is mostly about summer games and their obsession with Arthur Boo Radley, a neighbor who hasn't left his house in decades. But their world changes when their father, Atticus Finch, agrees to defend a Black man named Tom Robinson in a case that divides the entire community. The first half of the book is filled with childhood wonder. Scout, Jem, and Dill spend their days trying to lure the mysterious Boo Radley out of his house. They start finding small gifts like gum and a pocket watch hidden in a tree, not realizing that Boo is actually watching over them with kindness. However, the mood shifts as the trial of Tom Robinson begins. Tom is falsely accused of a crime against a white woman. Despite the danger to his family, Atticus takes the case because he believes in doing what is right. He tells Scout, "You never really understand a person until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." This lesson on empathy is the heart of the story. During the trial, Atticus proves Tom is innocent, showing that he physically could not have committed the crime. But in a town diseased by prejudice, the all-white jury convicts Tom anyway. This unfairness shatters their belief in justice. Tragically, Tom is later shot and killed while trying to escape prison. The story reaches a dangerous climax on Halloween night. The man who falsely accused Tom, Bob Ewell, attacks Scout and Jem to get revenge on Atticus. Just as things look their darkest, a mysterious figure emerges from the shadows to save them. It is Boo Radley. He kills the attacker in the struggle and carries the injured Jem home. The most interesting feature of this book is the symbol of the mockingbird. Atticus explains that mockingbirds only make music for people to enjoy. They don't harm anyone. Both Tom Robinson and Boo Radley are mockingbirds, innocent people who are damaged by the evil or prejudice of society. The book teaches us that protecting the innocent is our most important moral duty. Even though this book was written over 60 years ago, it remains timely and timeless. It speaks to the universal human experience of growing up and seeing the world's flaws. It reminds us that while we cannot always win against unfair systems, individual courage and empathy still matter. It challenges every new generation to decide if they will kill the mockingbird or have the strength to stand up for others. The final moments of the book are quiet and deeply moving. As Scout walks Boo Radley back to his front door, she stands on his porch and finally sees her entire neighborhood from his perspective. In that single moment, her father's greatest lesson comes to life. You can never truly know a person until you stand in their shoes. She realizes that the neighbor she once feared as a phantom was actually a kind and gentle man who had been watching over them with love all along. Later that night, Scout tells Atticus that a person they once misunderstood was actually real nice. Her father's reply serves as a final, thoughtful reflection for us all. Most people are, Scout, when you finally see them. Harper Lee's masterpiece remains a timeless plea for tolerance. It challenges every new generation to look past their own prejudices and remember that human goodness can still be found, even in a divided world, if we only have the courage to truly see one another.
Thanks for listening to Books Simply. If this explanation helped you understand the book more clearly, feel free to explore the next video in this series. New book explanations are added regularly. If you spot any mistakes or have suggestions, feel free to share them in the comments. If this helped you, a like is appreciated. You're welcome to subscribe and let us know which book you'd like to hear next.